How you doing, people out there? My name is Jay, and I want to touch on a very serious and sensitive subject. It seems like in this day and age, nobody wants to admit to these type of things, but I really think that we need to start talking about this if we're going to heal as a people, especially for relationships are concerned. And that is, we have a real big problem with relationships as they deal nowadays. And I honestly would like to say that I really feel as though that the problems that we are having is because of men. Now, before you want to come out, stop watching this, unsubscribe, or whatever the case may be, I really need you to hear me out. And the reason why I say this is because if you go throughout history in the 40s and 50s, women had a different mindset back then. They did things differently. They were more caring. They were more family oriented. They did more for the family structure in order to make sure that that the family survived and flourished. Didn't necessarily mean having to be in the kitchen or in the bedroom, but they did, whatever as far as work and whatever they needed to do to kind of keep the family going. And so it's for that we men put women on a high pedestal, put them on a very high pedestal. Okay. The problems is that as the generations has gone past, we now have women who really don't care or really want to adhere to those things that was back in those days. The problem is that we are still holding them at this high, pedestal plateau when we should be bringing it down to the level that women nowadays have put themselves. So you still have men putting women at a high pedestal when they should be down here somewhere. And the reason why is because if you look at generation throughout generation, back in the 40s and 50s, women were teaching their daughters how to be productive women and for a relationship structure. The problem is that as each generation evolved after the 80s is when women really started saying that they, equal rights and stuff like that. And there's nothing wrong with them having equal rights. I'm a strong believer in everybody should make whatever they're supposed to make, whether it be man or woman. The problem is that women started to feel like they needed to react and behave like us. And so now when women have children or daughters, they're not really teaching their daughters to be, all-rounded women to be able to sustain and hold relationships. And as time went on from the 80s, it just got worse and worse to the point where now women don't even really teach their daughters anything. Their daughters get old enough and they feel as though, okay, you need to learn how to be a woman on your own. So nowadays, women don't even know how to cook. You ask them to cook, they don't know how to cook. They rather you take them somewhere and spend money in order to be at a restaurant. They don't know how to clean, or they don't want to clean. And it's not saying that that's the only thing that they should be noted for doing, but the basic necessities that was taught back in the 40s and 50s, standing by your man, having a warm nature, being the overall family bond, they're not being taught this kind of stuff. So what's happening is that you got girls growing up nowadays that don't even know how to be a family woman. They just know how to be women, but they don't know how to be a family woman. Another thing that I seem to hear a lot is that women complain about being strong women. Okay? You can't handle me because I'm a strong black woman or I'm a strong whatever woman. I say black because I'm black, so I'm basing it off of what I hear from my own. So the first thing come out their mouth is you can't handle a strong black woman. The difference between a strong black woman and a strong black independent woman is that a strong black woman is just mentally strong, but a strong black independent woman takes care of her own, and she does what she needs to do to take care of her family and do everything that she needs to do for the household. The problem is that they confuse being a strong black independent woman with being a strong black woman, and you start to have problems with that. Okay, now like I said, each race is different, so they'll just maybe say that I'm a strong woman, so that's the reason why I say that the problems with relationships and the way they are now is basically due to us, because we need to stop holding women all the way up here and start holding women down here where generations have actually put them. Another problem that I see is that when you go on date sites, women are allowed to speak their mind and say whatever it is they want to say. And sometimes you look at profiles and they seem angry and they seem aggressive and they seem like they're, no matter what happens, it's going to be their way. Problem with that is that most men don't like that type of woman. So if you go on a date site and the woman is talking about how she's not going to take this bull or whatever the case, and if you come with this, don't even bother, or whatever the case may be, guys look at that and they just move on to the next person, no matter how beautiful you are, because no guy really wants to be in a confrontation with a woman. And a lot of times when you put that on that page, you're showing the guy like, look, this is the type of woman I'm going to be, so either you lump it or leave it. You know what I'm saying? And so what ends up happening is that guy's swipe, go on to the next one, because he's not going to sit there and deal with somebody. If he's not a confrontational, argumentative person, he's not going to deal with somebody who's like that. And another thing that I see a lot on dating sites is where a woman says something like, don't be a man's priority if you are his secondary, or whatever the term. And the problem with that is, when a man is doing things, a man has to put his priorities in an absolute perspective. Women like to look at their priorities emotionally. You know what I'm saying? And that's where the pedestal thing comes from. The woman has to be the center of a man's universe. That's where the priority thing comes in at. The problem with that is that if a man has a job, his job is his first priority. Because if he's not making money, nothing else happens. He can't get a house. He can't buy a car. He can't afford you. He can't buy clothes. He can't raise his kids. So job is priority one. Okay? Job is priority one. Second priority is maintaining stability, as far as keeping your money, being able to get a house, get a car, sustain stability. Things that will keep you in a pretty stable and normal existence while you're here. So the second thing is that. His third priority, if he has children, is his children. He has to make sure that his kids are taken care of. He has to make sure his kids have what they need, what they even want. He needs to make sure that they have a roof over their head, and that they have food in their bellies, and that they have a nice bed to lay in and clothes to wear. So he has to take care of his children. So the priorities is job, stability, children. Then your relationship or your wife. This is the realistic order that a man has to look at things. Because number one, if he don't make no money, you ain't going to stay around him. You ain't even going to want to be with him. So he has to prioritize the money in order to do anything else. Most of you on your site say if you don't have a place of your own or a car, you don't bother with them. So stability has to be his second priority. If he has children, most women will not mess with a man if he doesn't take care of his kids. So his kids is his third priority. You become the fourth, but you want to be number one. Now, if you're going to allow him to sit around and not work while you work and bring in the money, okay, you could be number one. But realistically, you are number four. But you demand to be number one. How can you? He has 3 other priorities that are before you. And these 3 priorities have to be done before you. But you insist on being number 1. That's another reason why relationships don't make it. There is a very well-known matchmaker, Miss Pope. I'm not going to say her whole name because I don't want to put on blast like that. Not putting on blast, but some people like their privacy. So I'm just going to say her last name is Pope. And she is a well-renowned matchmaker. She's been doing it, I think she said, for 13 or 14 years. And she just recently, as of 2018, said she's no longer taking women clients. She's only going to matchmake men. She's not taking any female clients. Why is that? Well, she states that women are extremely unrealistic in their expectations of a man. And basically, the way she summed it up was, women want a fuckboy as a husband. And the good man that is in her face, she wants to put in the friend zone. So basically, the bad boy, she wants to make her man, and the good man, she wants you to be Dr. Phil. She basically wants you to critique and tell her what she's doing wrong or what he's doing wrong in their relationship so it can become better for her with him, even though 9 chances out of 10, he don't give a rat's ass whether the relationship works or not. He don't care. He's not in it for that. And this is the big thing that I don't understand why women do this. This is really, it irritates and fascinates me at the same time. Women seem to like to go after men who other women are going after. Now, when I say this, I don't mean that an average guy doesn't have a chance. I'm just saying that women will go after body structure, facial expression, facial looks, and the normal stereotypes of men, because that is what other women like. And then they get mad when other women are chasing after their man. Well, the other women are chasing their man because you went after a man that every other woman went after. So what do? You could go after the normal nice guy, but the normal nice guy to y'all are boring. The normal nice guy doesn't give you the things that you want or the things that you think you need. So the boring nice guy is the one who has to Dr. Phil your relationship with the bad fuckboy. Okay? Also, if you look at throughout history, R&B songs used to be about love, about patience, about respect, and about that feeling that you get from love. If you listen to R&B songs now, you hardly ever hear an R&B song about love or respect or anything like that. You normally hear a song where somebody was done wrong, or it's about sex. It's either about what y'all doing in the bed or basically, what you could do for me. It's a shame. Even music has evolved in this day and age to fit what's going on now. So how do you remedy this kind of stuff? Well, I guess the best way to remedy is for women to understand that they're just as narcissistic as men are. There are studies now that prove that women are just as narcissistic as men. The difference in narcissistics between men and women is men do it for power. At a job, in their daily life, control. Okay? But they do it in the means of money. The more money you have, the more power you have. That's how men sees their narcissism. Women, on the other hand, sees their narcissism as power sexually. How they can manipulate a man sexually to do the things that they want. How they can manipulate a man sexually to gain control of him. If I wear this and look like this, then this guy will pretty much do whatever I say. So if you want to understand why relationships are not working, you need to understand why, the dynamics of it. One, you need to realize that you're just as narcissistic as we are. You just do your narcissism in a different way. Second thing is you need to reevaluate what makes family. If you're not family oriented, then you don't need to be trying to start a relationship with somebody. I was with an extremely narcissistic woman for 20 years. The only thing that she wanted to do was blend in with her friends so she can say and fit in with whatever they were doing. When they were having children, she wanted to have children. When they were getting married, she wanted to get married. When they were buying different types of cars, she would literally take the car that she has to the dealer, use it as a trade, still having money on it, and get the car that they have, and now are paying twice the car payment just to be able to fit in. And no matter what I said to her, it didn't make a difference. So it's for all these reasons, now you understand why men are now to the point where they are not looking for relationships. They're not trying to get into anything with a woman, and they're not really trying to sustain anything. They're not looking for marriage or anything like that. And the reason why is because men have gotten tired of constantly trying. If you go on the date site, you know, like I said, go on the date site. Look what women are saying, what men are saying. Like, women are literally saying that they're looking for threesomes. Women are literally saying that they're not looking for nothing permanent. Dating, but nothing serious. When you click on like what your status is, what you're looking for. I've seen 50-year-old women that has dating but nothing serious on their profile. Then when you look at the guy's profile, he's saying what he's looking for. He's saying he's looking for a good woman. You know, he's looking to get married or whatever the case may be, and he can't get it because that's not what she's looking for. She's looking just to have fun. So how do you change everything in this day and age? It's going to take hard work. But the fact of the matter is, if you don't go through the motions or don't take the steps to become a better person, you're just doomed to fail. Marriage rate now is at 76%. I mean, the divorce rate. It went down in a few years, but at one point it peaked at 76%. Can you imagine that? That means 1 out of 3 relationships end in divorce. That's bad. That's really bad. And the only way to combat it now is to try to figure out what to do. Only problem is, if you have a gender that don't believe that it's their fault, a gender that it's easier to deflect than to accept, a gender that feels as though it's always going to be the problem of someone else instead of them, then those numbers are going to go up. So I hope you look at this and you like it. Subscribe. I will be doing more videos like this in the future. I don't think nobody has given a really raw, honest perspective of what's going on, and I think that this is really needed. So I will be doing more videos in the future. So everybody stay safe. Try not to catch COVID, and I will see you in the next video.